Some things are funny because they're funny, and there are other things that are funny because they're true. If we take February, March, April, May, June, 5 months of the MAGA presidency, um, the Project 2025 conservative agenda, it has crashed and burned. Um, and again, I feel the need that I have to remind everybody that I see both parties in the same light. I'm not a liberal fan. I'm not a conservative fan. I'm not a MAGA fan. I'm not a Democrat. Not a Green Party fan. Um, but since MAGA is the group that's in charge, that's who we're kind of looking at. Their first move was immigration, and they were going to do this mass immigration, and hasn't happened. I mean, I think it's like less than 200 people have been deported, especially specifically with this El Salvadorian thing. And within a very small amount of people, they couldn't even get they sit the wrong person, can't get them back. I mean, also the immigration thing crashed and burned. Then of course we go to the Smithsonian. Nothing's happened with the Smithsonian. It's still there, it's still the same, nothing's changed. Then we go to uh, a reformation on American history. Now, that may come up later, but right now, really nothing has happened. Just a bunch of hot wind blowing. Then we came up with reversing the Civil Rights Act of 1964, where the government offices and public sector can discriminate. And the heads of that, who is Elon Musk and Donald Trump, couldn't make it 6 months with each other, and they fallen completely out. Then they think that they're going to bomb a country and tell the country what to do, and nobody's listening to them. You bomb this country to let them know you're the boss, and you give this country billions of dollars so they're supposed to know you're the boss, and you say now ceasefire, and they keep bombing. This is just like the movie with Jim Carrey, a series of unfortunate events. What has occurred positively in the first 5 months of Trump's presidency? And that's not a rhetorical statement. I really would like to know what has occurred positively. You have middle-aged and older white patrons doing the No Kings protest. Every uh, depiction of the different protests around the country, I'm seeing that demographic being part of the No Kings. The Latinos are not rioting, but they're definitely protesting. So we got the two biggest voter bases completely upset. What? Where's the win? Because nobody is completely incompetent. Everybody has their talent. Everybody has their value. Everybody has their level of intelligence. So is the market, the economy was suffering at a time? I mean, the country overwhelmingly voted for the MAGA agenda. And all of what I see is hateful of the 2025 project. Where has been the win? I'm truly trying to figure out where where is the win? I Elon was a bust. Um, this big beautiful bill is a bust. Uh, Intervening in the Middle East, at least right now, is a bust. Um, all of these things that Trump said that everybody should have known was impossible, but the MAGA people believed it when he's, oh, I would stop this war like that. And no, you can't. The There are some issues that death or money will not affect going on in the Middle East. It's actually, though I don't subscribe to religion, but it's a principled issue going on over there. And we don't have a lot of principles in the United States. Generally, everything's about money here, historically. Remember, this is a historic channel. I'm not talking about each individual person, broad strokes. But how can you be what's the word? What's the word? Encouraged. How can you be encouraged as a Republican, as a MAGA follower, as a conservative, in how you've gotten out of the gate in this particular presidency? It seems like nothing is working. And I not just that, they tried to arrest judges because they weren't going along with the um, with the agenda of the deportations, and then you had a backswing of the Supreme Court taking its power back. And so you have the Supreme Court, the executive branch, and Congress, the legislative branch, all on different pages, seemingly, because it is alleged that Congress did not know or approve the bombing. Now, I find that hard to believe. I find that hard to believe. I think they may have approved the bombing, but just saw no point in declaring war. Because if they could stop the bombs from hitting the ground in their bases in the Middle East, you know they could stop planes coming shooting bombs trying to get to the United States. So um, this is not necessarily a informative history and politics, but it is more of a question. I'm just kind of analyzing. I'm just kind of trying to process where is this going, and this is something that I think American people should be processing or pondering, because other than that, we're just doing Groundhog's Day. We get up, we go to work, we come home. We get up, we go to work and come home. And all of these things are happening around us. And then we look up, we look back at our lives and go, oh my goodness, I was alive at that time. Um, this may be known as the Project 2025 presidency. But I will say this, with as much as the deportation seemed to have fizzled, as much as the history reformation seems to have fizzled, as much as the Doge seems to have fizzled, and just about, and the ceasefire, it seems like this is going to be a very forgettable presidency, which is shocking because one thing Trump isn't is forgettable, but it seems as though he's bombing. I no pun intended, but I would like to know. Please leave it in the. Please like, share, and subscribe. But leave in the chat what, where has America won under this president? And please don't leave anything about Biden. I mean, that doesn't that doesn't help. A comparative to somebody else as bad as the person we're trying to analyze doesn't help us analyze. And that's another thing. Um, this is an academic channel. It is a virtual classroom. The goal is to instruct and process and develop skills in research and thought. Okay? And having good research technique. So here's an example of poor research technique. I feel something, so I look for information that backs what I feel. What is better is to be interested in a topic, even if you have a feeling about it. Research the topic and let the facts give you your opinion. So, and there are people that are better at it than others. There are people who are more practiced at it than others. So, if you have one source that says one thing and the person you're talking to has five sources that says things counter to your one, yes, you actually did some research and you have one source, but you looked far enough to see something to prove the point that you want to see. And in this particular climate, if we take history or if we take politics or if we take our country seriously, this is not about winning as much as it is about understanding. So, um, keep a clear understanding that you can lose by winning. You want to win an argument when the goal is to get deeper into understanding. You want to appear to understand, which is right. I'm right. So I understand. But in such trying to be right, as soon as I see something that aligns with what I think, I stop looking. But if I looked further, I will find out there is more information that supports something counter to what I think than there is information that supports what I think. So, majoritively, I'm wrong, but I can find some things that say that I'm right. So, an analysis is not finding something worse. I did a video where I said that the European or the uh, white, if we're going to go from 1681, the white group has the worst history of humanity of all of the groups. Now, as opposed to analyzing that, somebody said, well, what about Mao's China? Okay, number one, no comparison to white supremacy. I mean, if you talk about just the British Empire, at one time, the British Empire controlled 2/3 of the globe. That's why they said the sun couldn't set on the British Empire, because somewhere around the world it was daytime, as the world turned. You know what I mean? And you have to understand, India, Australia, Africa, particularly South Africa, and America were all under white supremacist regimes at the same time. Like Gandhi was the turn of the century. South Africa was the beginning of the turn of the century into the civil rights movement. And we went into Plessy versus Ferguson in the 1890s, and we didn't go talk about slavery. I know y'all slaveried out. So all of these, Jim Crow was going on in South Africa at the same time it was going on in India. Um, the system of Europeans taking over a land, establishing government, and regulating the indigenous people and melanated people in particular to second class controlled citizenship for labor was going on all over the world. Even when the British Empire fell, the traditions and customs were going on. So when people are saying there's no clandestine plan that has been against American black people, those are very uninformed people. Because Jim Crow, Plessy, segregation, literacy tests, voting restrictions, all of those things existed in colonized nations in areas of people that were designated as black. Because there are Indians that call themselves black. Dravidian Indians call themselves black people. There are Africans that call themselves black people. The Aborigine of Australia call themselves black people. And there were also a group of Africans in South Africa during apartheid called designated as colored. So the language, these were things and practices that were being communicated. It wasn't just ideas of industry and capitalism that was a result of the Columbian Exchange. It was ideas of control within capitalism. And that Willie Lynch letter, not the letter in particular, but that idea, there were many Willie Lynch letters, is what I'm saying. Not just this is how you treat a slave, but this is how you treat a second class citizen. This is how you restrict their movement. This is how you restrict them socially, as to where there are social customs that if a white person tells a South African to do something, even if they don't work for that person, they have to do it. These things are going on all over the globe. So when we see in 2025, United States president saying, I can control this part of the country, there is a reason why historically they think they can do that. And why I can go and bomb this country and nothing is going to happen over here. And have the nerve to be visibly irritated when what I commanded should have happened didn't happen. Now, I can see him being irritated at Israel because that's supposed to be an ally, a well-funded ally. But Iran, you just bombed them. And, well, I don't want to touch that area because that's kind of sensitive. But let's ponder in the 5 months of the MAGA presidency, what has been the success?